Hi, this is Mandy with Scott Leroy Marketing, and today's class is Database Overview. If you're watching this back on a recording from our YouTube channel and you have any questions at all, you can always reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. If you're here with me live today in class, you can always drop your questions right in the chat. If I don't see them while I'm teaching, just know I'll stay a couple of minutes after and get those answered for you, but I'll try to keep my eye on that chat while I'm going through everything to answer them in real time for you as well. So this is your command as you see it on your screen. And today we're going to cover the database. That would be over here on the left-hand side. And if you're not familiar with these icons just yet, you can always click this red square at the top left, and it will pop out the names of these icons for you until you get more familiar with them. But the contacts tab right here with the little person in a square is going to be what we call your command database. You may hear it referred to as a couple of different things, maybe command contacts, command database, contacts tab. Back in the day, we used to call these applets over here on the left-hand side. Now they're called tabs. So if you ever hear someone say the contacts applet, they may also be referring to your contact database or your command database, just to kind of give you an overview of what that may be called. We'll spend most of our time here today within this contacts tab. I'm going to go over general navigation for you, how to find what you need to look for here. Also some customization that you can do for your own personal command account so that you can see this the way that you want to see it every time you log into command. Show you some shortcuts as well. And then we'll be going over how to get your contacts added in, how to add them manually, how to do an import, if you ever need to do an export and get a copy of your contacts, things like that. And I'll also show you kind of the back office, like your settings for your contacts here. You'll more than likely rarely ever use them, but I want you to know where they're located just in case you need them. Okay, so remember, this is an overview class. I'll be giving just a generic overview, general terms. If you ever want to know more, that's YouTube channel that I did show you at the beginning. Just know you can go do that keyword search here to go look in for details or reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. And we'll be happy to help you in whatever it is you're trying to accomplish in your business with your contacts. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into some just general navigation of this space. If you're learning command at all, you'll start noticing that there's usually a search field over here on your left with some action buttons, usually in the top right. You'll notice a teal one right here and a white one. So let's start top left to the right here. Your search field does have some options. See this triangular shape? We also call that a caret. If you click that, you'll notice you have some search options that you can change. We recommend keeping it on everything as that will pull apart pretty much everything for this contact. Like even if you had partial information, maybe you only had a few digits of the phone number and you can type that in and it should go ahead and pull that contact based on just even a partial piece of information for you. Okay. So you can adjust that as you would like, but again, having everything clicked usually works best. And also you have your filters next. Now this is how you can sort through your contacts, really organize them, find what you're looking for, especially when it comes to maybe if you're creating smart plans or campaigns in your command account. It's great to go ahead and have your contacts organized with tags and things like that to make it super easy when you go to do marketing and you're able to grab those contacts based on the tag that you have them for. So you can come in here and click on filters. Your filter drawer will open right here to the right. I'm going to go ahead and minimize each option so that you can see it fully here. And so you can see that we do have some already applied, the filters that we're already using. If you don't, you won't see the gray. These are options that you can filter through your contacts by. Maybe you want to see who has a birthday on file. So you can click birthday and choose the option here to enter that. Maybe you want to see when someone actually was last contacted. You can choose that here. There's just so many options. You also have new advanced filters right up here at the top as well. If you click advanced, It'll actually let you apply multiple filters at one time, and the drop down options for those fields may be a little easier to navigate here. Like, for instance, if I go ahead and clear these and then just add a field. So let's say I want to know who has already downloaded my app. So I can put agent site connection and that they're already connected. But then I actually want to see who's been active on it within the last 30 days. So I can come here and look for, I have my screen zoomed in just a second. I zoomed in so the writing would be larger, but it's cutting off my drop down. There we go. All right, so I can come down here to recently active and is within and put 30 days. So that would help me see who has actually been active on my KW Consumer app within the last 30 days. And you would hit apply to apply those filters. I hope that makes sense. This is how you can kind of sort through your contacts and actually find the ones you're looking for. So go ahead and close that out. Now, that is a way to filter through and see the contacts that you want to see here. Once you have them displayed here, you can also customize the way that you see the columns. Maybe you definitely want the phone number right here, but maybe you just want to see the tags right after, or maybe their email right after. So you can come here to customize columns. On the left-hand side, you get to choose which columns actually show. So maybe if we're a solo agent, we don't need to know who's the owner or assignee for a contact. That would be more for a team that's a team member. So we can take those things off. And on the right-hand side, you decide what order the columns appear in. So maybe we want that email to be popped up here to the front, or even recently active all the way to the front. So that will be the first column I would see if I hit apply. Now notice it updated in real time. If you're working with a larger database or maybe you have a lot of tabs open on your browser, it may show you or tell you that the change has been made successfully, but you're not seeing it on your screen. You can always come and hit your refresh button on your browser and that should reset it for you. Okay? So you can adjust the customized columns right there. You can also see this in a different format. Right now, we have more of what we call like a list view, and you could see it in card view. If you hover over this and click that, it shows it in a different way. Notice your columns are not there anymore, and it's in a larger card type file or view. So you can choose whichever one that you prefer. It's just usually easier for us if we use the list here, and that way we have our columns, and you can notice when we hover over, we get a little caret right there. We can kind of click back and forth. If we had multiple contacts, we'd be able to see which one is sorted even on the name from A to Z, Z to A, things like that. And if you go in between the columns, every now and again, there's a little bracket. We can actually slide it to be a bigger column or smaller. So there are some customizations here that you can do for yourself. And if you'd like to save it, let's say you just came in here and filtered for all your new leads or something like that. And every morning when you come into command, you want to be able to see those brand new leads first thing when you come in without having to do the filters or adjusting your columns. You can always come right here to Smart View and create a Smart View. You would just hit create and you can name this. So just for the sake, we'll say new leads. You can even hit this as a default smart view. If you do that, this will be the view that you see every time you come into your command database, no matter what device you are on. So you can set that as your default if you'd like. If not, don't check that. Just hit smart view and then it'll save it within your smart view dropdown right here. And anytime you'd like to come and rather go through your list to find that smart view that you had already set up, it'll save you that time from having to go through all those filters again and again, right? So just a quick and easy way to do that. Notice that teal button was right here and it said save smart view or update smart view. That is because I was changing something like maybe the column view or the card view. You can hit save smart view changes just to update that same smart view that you just had. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and go back. keep it like we want it. And that's where your customization comes in. One more thing over here on the right, notice it says show one of one contact. If you're working with contacts, a larger database than this, you can click this and choose to see up to 500 contacts on this first page. This is super helpful because if you're trying to do something in bulk, let's say you want to add a tag in bulk or maybe even archive a group of contacts, maybe add them to a smart plan, things like that. You can do that in bulk with your contacts here. You can make sure this is set to 500. Imagine you had more than one contact, right? And then from there, as soon as you either select an individual contact or you can choose the box that's right here, actually in the column header, that's a select all box. So you could click that. It will show how many you have just selected altogether. Notice a bulk action menu appears right here. There's a lot of options on this menu. This is a way that you can perform an action for more than one contact at a time. And you would be able to choose from this list from like adding an activity. Maybe you ended up seeing multiple agents at a realtor open house. And so you just want to add that activity. Or for a client, maybe you had a run in with them at a store and actually got to discuss a little business. So you can add that activity here, even add a note to their contact profile. This is where you can bulk add tags. And I want to jump into this one here in just a quick second because I really want to show you that in detail because it is a huge help here with your contacts. So let me skip over that one and I'll come right back. Add to an email list. If you already have an email list created for your campaigns, maybe you're doing an email campaign, you can add these contacts directly to that email list right here. And then also add to Smart Plan directly from the bulk action menu. And you can do this in increments of up to 500, remember? So that's a great way to add a lot of contacts to your smart plan at once. You can even archive these contacts. If you're ever trying to get rid of contacts here within your database for any reason, it is a two-step process. The first step is to archive, and the second step is to delete. I'll show you a little more about that towards the end of class when I show you your back office settings for your contacts. But your archive, if you hit this button, it will send them to the contacts archive. And they'll be back there because again, there's that second step of deleting just to make sure that you're not making a mistake or losing any data because there's no undo button once you delete it. Next is the change account. This is going to be relevant if you are on a team. This is allowing you to move this contact off of your personal profile and on to your team profile. There is pretty much no way to undo that. So if you are on a team, and let me click off the bulk action menu to show you your name up here on the top right. If you are on a team, it would show here, you would have your personal profile and also your team profile. The databases are different for each one. So if I were to choose my team profile, notice this changes to my team name, and the contacts that would show here are going to change depending on your permissions within that team. So going back to our personal profile, if we were to choose from that bulk drop down menu right here to change account, that would take my contacts off of my personal profile and put them on the team profile. Okay. There's no undo button, guys. Um, as an alternative, there is a way to export a copy of your personal contacts and then re-import them onto your team profile. This will allow you to keep ownership a little bit better and also keep copies of your contacts on both profiles. And that way, you always have that backup. You always have that ownership of the contacts. And you're less likely to lose that contact data if you were to ever leave that team. So, just a little heads up about team contacts and if you would ever choose to do that. But this change contact, no undo button. Okay. Next is to export. This is to export just the contacts you've selected. It would export it into a spreadsheet for you that you can edit. It's called a CSV file, which is just comma separated value, a little fancy way of saying Excel spreadsheet. And so you can export them here, just the contacts you've selected, or you can even export them in mailing labels. This option is also in spreadsheet format. The export mailing labels has a PDF right here. That's a static document. Can't make any changes to it. And it would show it in kind of like a stacked form, like when you think of a name being on top, the street address just under that, city and state just under that. This is what it would look like on the PDFs, as if you were printing out mailing labels. And so going down a little further, you can mark your contact as a lead, the same as unmark as a lead. Now, let's go ahead and mark this as a lead so that I'll know. There it is. It already had an L. So that would make this little L appear right here beside the name. That means it is a lead, which means you just need to have that real estate conversation with them. Maybe you haven't had that one-on-one contact, the good conversation, right? Make that good connection. And so you can leave them marked as a lead as long as you would like, but you can always come here and from your bulk action menu, if you have more than one, you can always choose to unmark as a lead as well, and that will remove that tiny L. It can always be added back at any time if you made the mistake for that though. Next is to merge. Now, you have to have two contacts to actually merge contacts. This is if you had, like, say, duplicate contacts in here. Let's say you had two fake name contacts, but one has the phone number on the profile and the other one has the email on the profile, and you'd like to merge them together. This is an option to do that right here. I'm going to show you this in detail towards the end back in your back office settings. Okay. But this is an option to do it quickly here. Let's say if you had, again, two contacts selected, you could click merge and go through that process because it does let you select which pieces of information you are keeping and lets you know which ones will either be merged or lost. And so below that is remove tags, which goes with adding a tag at the top. We'll jump into that in just a second. And send text message. If you have a Twilio account connected to your command account, then this is a way that you would be able to bulk text message contacts. Down here at the bottom, you can share a copy. Now, this is like giving somebody your friend's phone number. They're going to put it in their phone. They'll contact that person, but you will no longer be able to see that interaction between that person and your friend. You're just giving them a copy of the contact information, but any interaction between that person and your contact will not be documented within your command timeline. Okay. And I'll show you the timeline if you're not familiar with that in just a few minutes. We already went over unmark as a lead, so let's go back up to add tags. So again, tags are the perfect way to organize your contacts in here. If you can think of a way to describe your contacts, make it a tag. Maybe it's that they are family. Maybe it's where you met them. Maybe if they're a past client from 2022. Maybe they're a hot buyer. Maybe they are a past seller or potential client. Maybe it's another agent and you want to grow your profit share. You get where I'm going with this. If you can think of it as a way to classify your contacts, make it a tag. That way, if you ever need to come to your contact database and you're trying to find a certain type of contact or a certain person, you can just type in a tag and it will pull those contacts for you. Again, think of them as labels, file names, whatever you would like, whatever helps you know who this is. So let's say there's a smart plan called Monthly Neighborhood Nurture, is where it will send an email out to your contacts with market snapshot or market data every month. So I want to know which contacts have both their email address and a neighborhood on file so that I can send them and on that smart plan so that they'll get that monthly email. So I can come right here and add this tag to these contacts. So when I go to start my smart plan, I can just pull up this tag and I'll know they're good to go. So I'll just go ahead and type it out. Looks like I had already started that, but let's say monthly neighborhood. And as you're seeing it change on your screen, Those are the tags that already fit what I'm searching. If you see what you're looking for down here, you can always select it. It'll show you how many you've selected right here at the bottom. You can select more than one, but if you do not see it here and you want to create a new one, you can do it right from this screen. Let's go ahead and create a new one. You can pick a different color, whichever one you'd like, and hit create tag. Now it still says one selected because it selected the one I made, and I could come back up here and add a different one if I wanted to. So if I want to type in a test tag, there it is right there. Again, you can select as many as you need to and hit submit. Now it will give me a banner at the bottom right showing that these tags were added to one of my contacts. This is one of those things that if you do not see it on your screen, even though it said that it's saved, you can always come up here and hit that refresh in the top left-hand corner, and that way it will show on your screen, okay, what you just changed. Same thing with removing tags. You can always select the contacts. Your bulk action menu appears, and you can scroll down to remove tags. It will show you the tags that are currently applied and to how many contacts they are attached to, and you can choose which ones you actually want to remove and hit remove. Okay, excellent. So that is how you kind of navigate this space. You can customize it, and I also showed you your bulk action menu here, and we covered filters. Now let's go ahead and actually jump into the contact profile itself, and I'll show you what is there. And then we'll get into how to add those contacts within your command database if you do not already have them. That's when we'll go over these top three items right here. So if I want to look at this contact profile right here, maybe I want to edit it or check on the timeline information, you can just click on the name, and this is what we would call a contact profile. On the left-hand side, you will see all the data that I have for this particular contact. Okay, I'll go through a little slower here. You'll see the contact's name, when I last contacted them, that little L to show that I do have them marked as a lead. You can see here, this is where you unmark them. You can also see your contact's health score. It's based on how much information I actually have for this particular contact on file. This is a really good score of 84. As we come on down a little further, you'll see the tags that we have on this contact, and then their primary pieces of information, their primary phone number and their primary email. Coming down a little further, you can see a lead source. Each contact will only have one lead source. If you do enter it, you can't enter two. And a lead source is going to be where you got that lead from, where you got that contact from. Maybe it's family. Maybe it was a conference. Maybe it's at a CE class that you had at your MLS brokerage, like, or board. So whatever the source is for this, you can enter it here if you would like. You can always hit the pencil to edit this contact, but it would be listed here if you had one for this particular contact. Next is the account that this contact is for. As you can see here, it is under our personal account, and we are the owner of it. Again, if you're on a team, this is where it will look a little bit different. You may see it's a team contact and you're the assignee or something similar. As we come on down, you'll notice neighborhoods. Now, the neighborhood on a particular contact profile can pull from the primary address that you have for this contact, but you can also add additional neighborhoods if you would ever like to. The purpose of this is so that, like on monthly neighborhood nurture emails, if you set them up on that smart plan and it's sending them an email every month, these are the neighborhoods they'll be receiving information about. Also, even if you don't use that smart plan, you can always come right here and copy the link of this neighborhood's information and send it and share it with your contact, or maybe even on your social media, whatever you're looking to use it for, you can actually do that here. We have a tip video on how to add these neighborhoods and how to adjust them further. If you're looking to do that in more detail, definitely recommend checking that out. So we come on down further. This is the additional contact information for this contact. Maybe we have their preferred contact method. Maybe we have a secondary email, secondary phone number. This is where their home address, the primary address, would live, as well as any additional addresses that they may have as well. The legal name is how their name would appear on documents, like in your opportunities. And then also, if we had social profiles on file for them, further information like their birthday, home anniversary, and we can even add custom fields. Now, everything you saw above this is the default fields that you will see for every single contact in here, but you can actually add custom fields. If there's something that's a niche for you with your contacts, maybe you're doing even a special event like a pie giveaway, you could create a custom field that you could choose which pie is their favorite and start keeping track of that for your contacts. Maybe favorite gifts, maybe their children's names, maybe any other information that would be pertinent to you to make that extra special connection with you and your contacts. You can add that as a custom field. So you would see that at the bottom. We'll come back up to the top. Oh, one more thing, relationships right here. If you have maybe two or three people that are, or even more, that are related to each other, or maybe they live in the same household, maybe they're married, whatever the relationship is, you can actually add relationships on the contact profile. And I'll show you how to edit that in just a few minutes. But if I had a relationship tied to this contact, the other person's name would appear right here as a hyperlink, and I could just click that hyperlink and jump over to their contact profile to view their information. It would, in essence, it would link their contact profiles together. So I could tell that they actually had a relationship and were connected. Okay, going back up to the top here, let's go over the right side. This is your timeline of information. This is activities, any kind of interaction for this contact, as well as things that they've done. Maybe they signed into your app. Maybe they liked a property. Maybe they requested a showing of that property on your app. Things like that will appear over on this right side. I'm just going to scroll all the way down and kind of go through it to give you examples. So a smart plan did not go through, but you can see where they were added. It did not go through, it was undelivered. Gives you timestamps and dates. You can see where they were removed from that smart plan, sent a text to them, actually called them through command. These can be manually added as well by adding that activity like we talked about before. If you did a call but not through a desktop dialer or something like that. As you scroll up, you can see more smart plan information. If they subscribe to a neighborhood, like adding a neighborhood over here on the left-hand side, you can see that detailed here with a hyperlink of the neighborhood. So scroll on up. You can see they had a meeting with them. We created a saved search for them. More information. That's your timeline. You can also sort through these. Remember, anytime you see that upside down triangle, you've got some sort options and filter options here as well, where you can choose what you see. Next is opportunities. Now you do have an opportunities tab over here to the left where you can jump in and view all your opportunities. But if I'm just looking for information based on this one particular contact, I can always come to their opportunities tab right here within their contact profile and see it right here. You can even create an opportunity from here. Smart plans are the same way. If I'm looking to see what smart plans this particular contact is on, I can view that here. I can even add them to a smart plan, or I can even remove them from a smart plan. Tasks, same situation. I'm seeing which tasks are pertinent to this particular contact. I can always go over here to my tasks tab on the left-hand side to view all of my tasks, but things that are particular to this one contact, I could see right here. And I can also adjust this, make changes, edit, archive it, or I can even create a brand new task. Notes, pretty self-explanatory. You can keep those here. Your contact does not see them. They are only for you. And you would add a note with your action button right here on the top right. Next are save searches. These are pretty great. Usually, well, I'll say years and years ago, you'd have to go to an MLS to actually create a search for your contacts for it to send them listings. We would call them hot sheets. I don't know if they're called that anymore, but you could send a hot sheet to yourself or to a contact so they see the brand new listings that were coming on and off the market. And now you don't have to actually maintain command and also your MLS. You can do it right from here. You can create a saved search for your contacts, come in here, put in what they are looking for, actually set parameters as well. And once you do that and you set all these up, you would be able to the next screen is to choose like email notifications, how often they would like the updates, if they would like them immediately, or maybe just bi-weekly. There's even a way to set up your contacts if they would just like to go to open houses and get notifications for just open houses in your area. So you can create those saved searches right here. Your contact can also create them on your consumer app as well. And if they do that and create it on your app, on their app, you'd be able to see which saved searches they also created. They would be here as well. Just a little pro tip with that though, they do need to have created their own login to your consumer app or your website for them to actually receive the emails that would be generated from the saved search. So if you come in here and start creating saved searches for contacts, you just want to make sure they've already gotten your consumer mobile app. It's branded to you, and then make sure they've created that login so that they can receive emails from this. Okay. One last thing here on the contact profile, you'll notice again that pencil. You can click here and it will open a pop-up right here. And this is where you can edit this particular contact. You would be able to come through and edit the name. Notice it keeps first and last name in the same field. You can add relationships right here. If we had another contact, put our cursor there and start typing it in. It looks like we have a couple other hidden contacts, so we could choose one of them and say which relationship it is, and it would link these contact profiles so that we would know. And you can add as many as you need to. We'll go ahead and remove that for demonstration purposes. Primary email address. Maybe that's their work instead of their personal. It's letting me know that their email is tied to a saved search. And am I sure that I want to update this? So I'll just go ahead and hit cancel. Primary phone can be adjusted right here. There's where our lead source type can be chosen. You can choose from the list of lead sources you already have, or maybe you met this person through another one of your contacts. So you can just type that, begin typing the name, and choose it from your list if they are another contact within your command database. Choose that lead source. Here you can mark them as a lead again. You can add tags here as well. Add as many as you need. You can also remove them here. Remember, you're editing a contact. Now, if you're adding a contact in manually, just one at a time, these are the same exact fields, same exact pop-up that would appear. We'll go ahead and add more information. So additional contact information, you can come through here, add their preferred method of contact. Notice a do not contact option here. This does not change anything on your contact profile. It's only for your information. If you want to mark them do not contact, if for any reason a contact has asked you not to contact them again, we recommend scrolling back up, grabbing this primary information, removing it, and then coming down here under additional contact information and putting it down here. The reason why is so you do not lose that data, right? You're retaining their information, but any of the marketing in command, it will not pull the additional information. It only pulls from the primary pieces of information. So as long as the primary email and the primary phone number are empty, you know that you won't accidentally reach out to them with some marketing. Okay. So just a little pro tip, if you have to mark them do not contact, go ahead and grab that contact information from the top as primary and move it on down to additional information. You can come down a little further. This is where you would add their primary address. This field right here, it auto-populates from Google, excuse me. but you can override it if you need to. But let's just say you'll just start typing in an address and you can pick from the drop down. We'll just randomly pick one here. Notice you did have a create manual at the bottom if we needed to override it or didn't find it populating. You can also choose same as mailing address. Highly recommend doing that. It will help you out when you do further marketing. If I had social profiles, I can add them here. There's about fields that would include the legal name, any description that you would like to add, maybe their birthday, home anniversary. You can add more relationships right here as well, and their work information, their company name, and then also the job title they have. Under custom, this is where you can add those custom fields. Maybe you want to include their area of interest, kids' names, price point, or we can even add a custom field. You can choose from a list that you have created right there or delete it. And then you would just hit save to any of the edits that you've just done right there. We're going to click cancel because we don't want to edit this guy at all. But those are your editing options right here, as well as the three dots. You'll notice in command, there's multiple ways to do the same thing and it's for your convenience. So again, you'll have an option to add to a smart plan from right here on these ellipses. Change account. Again, that's moving it to a team account. It would take it off of your personal profile. You can resubscribe them. Don't panic. This is on every single contact. So if you see it on your contacts in command, don't panic. It is there for everybody. If you went through and tried to resubscribe them and they had not unsubscribed, it will give you a pop-up and say, this person did not unsubscribe. So no worries. And then you can archive again, move them to your contact archive in the back. So that's what a contact profile looks like in all of your options in here. I'm going to click back to contacts. We were moving on to how to add your contacts next. On the top right-hand corner, this is how you get your contacts into command. Now the add contact button is for when you have one contact at a time that you would like to manually add, and you would click add contact. Notice it's the exact same layout we just saw when we were editing that contact profile. So you would just fill in these fields and then hit create at the bottom to add that single contact in, okay? If you have more than one that you would like to import, we recommend getting your contacts onto a spreadsheet. You can actually use a custom spreadsheet that you've created yourself, or you can use the template from command itself. I'm going to grab my files here real quick so I can show you what I mean by the difference and get those open. And if you're not familiar with where to grab these files, you can always click not the files, but the actual command template for an import. You can always click the import button, and the download template button is right here on the top right. This is a template that will import your contacts right into command. Let me show you what it looks like. This is it. It can look a little overwhelming with all of these headers. So let me jump in here and expand it for you just a little bit. So you can see all of them. Grab the wrong button. There we go. And so again, notice that it has first name, middle name, last name. You can do a prefix or a suffix. If you're using this template, please make sure that both of these headers stay exactly like they are right now. You can't add custom columns onto this particular template. It needs to stay exactly as it is. I'm going to show you one here with an actual contact on it. Let me pull that really quick. And that way you can see how the information would go in. Here we go. There we are. And so you can see our contact is right here. And so we've begun entering their information. You do not have to put their full legal name if you want to just space out their name here. It would go into that additional field that we saw on the contact profile to include their legal name. You can enter any about information. This is their key dates section right here, birthday and home anniversary. With the date format, you can essentially do any way that you would like to with the date. If you want to fully write it out, if you just like it actually auto formatted to show more of a military date, any of those three options are acceptable within the template and would work. You just want to make sure you have all three pieces: month, date, and year. Same for home anniversary. Their phone numbers. Now there's several fields for phone numbers here. You can see cell phone, home phone, work phone, or other phone. Notice these columns right beside it. It's letting you know it wants to know which one is primary. Remember, we only have a primary phone field and one primary email field. So even if you do have multiple pieces of information for that one contact, you need to put a capital Y in whichever column that it's beside the primary phone. So this is the cell phone. So we put a capital Y to mark that as the primary phone number, okay? But you do not want to have another capital Y beside any of the other phone numbers because, again, only one can be marked as primary, okay? If you move over to the right, same with the emails. You're able to add multiple emails in for one contact, personal, work, or other. But again, you need to mark one of them primary, and you can see that there with a capital Y. Moving to the right, when you're entering information for your contact, you can also do multiple physical addresses. First one is primary, the other is other. Notice that it is separated out: address line 1, address line 2, city, state, zip, country. Then you need to add a label. It needs to be either home, work, rental, vacation, or other. So you would add that in this column. And then you would mark it as a yes if it's the mailing address. Remember, you're only going to want to add the Y for one of the physical addresses to mark it as mailing. We move over to the right, that's the other address, same fields, label as well, but you don't add the capital Y for that if it's not the mailing. And there's third address that you can add as well under other addresses, same fields. Even further to the right, it's a big template. You can get a lot of information for your contact on this. Next is going to be tags. Remember, you want to add as many tags as possible that make sense to you. If you need to organize your contacts, if you can think of a single distinguishing word or words for that particular contact that you would come and search for them by, go ahead and add it as a tag, and you can do that during the import process right here. You'll just want to make sure that they're separated with a comma. Notice it's referral, comma space, buyer, comma space, and import, and that whole date will actually be one tag together. So the comma and the space actually separate them, hence the CSV file, right? Comma separated value, like I told you earlier. That's where that comes in at. So you can add as many or as little tags as you'd like. Just highly recommending adding at least one tag that would be the same for all of your contacts on this one file, so that if, God forbid, something go wrong with your import and you need to come back and find all the contacts that were on that one import, you'll want to have a common tag for all of them that were in this file. That's why you'll see us do import and the date, because that way we know that these are all the contacts from that one file, and we can go and filter the contact database to find them and do a bulk action like archive and delete. If for some reason there was something wrong with them, we can get them back out and then re-import if we need to. Okay. Next is source. So right here, you would put your lead source for that particular contact. This one just happens to be a family example. Maybe it's a colleague, coworker, fellow agent, whatever it is. And then also notes. You can write as many notes as you need to. Make sure you separate them with a comma. When you separate them with a comma, it will make it a second note. Remember when we were looking at the contact profile and you could see the notes listed? And then also you can put their social media profiles here as well. Just know it needs to be the entire profile link. You'll want it to be a full link, so when you click on it, it takes you right to their public profile for that platform. Okay. That's what the command template looks like. I'm going to scroll all the way back left here. That's what that template looks like. If you would like to put your contacts into this format and import them, you can. The benefit is you do not have to go through the mapping process. And I'm fixing to show you what that looks like. So let me go ahead and close this file and our template. And I'm going to grab what a custom import file would look like. This is just a spreadsheet that you would have made on your own. Let me zoom in for you. And you created your own columns. Your column header would need to make sure it's the first row all the way to the top, no blank rows at the top, or else command will think that the file is empty. But let's say this is the piece, these are the pieces of information you have for your contacts: first name, last name, phone number, email, address, still separated out, and then tags, maybe a source, maybe a note. And that's all you have. It's not distinguished as which one's primary, which one's not. You don't see that it's distinguished if it's a mailing address or not, but this is what you have. Sometimes we see contact files that maybe just have the name all in one column and a phone number, or the name and just an email. That's 100% fine too. The critical one, you want to just make sure you got that tag column. Remember, you want to add at least one common tag for all the contacts on this file so that you'll be able to trace them if you need to. And your contacts always have to have at least a first name. Okay. So those two are the critical columns. Everything else is just bonus information that you've added. Okay. So we're going to use this custom import here that doesn't follow that template to import into this command so that I can show you what the mapping process looks like. So we'll go ahead, you can download your file here. Notice there's links to how to import your contacts if you need to with important rules. But we can hit browse, grab our custom import. You can replace the file if you need to. It lets me know it's uploaded. If you've already imported a file or tried to import a file with the same name, you may get an error. Just know it needs to have a unique name every time. And we'll hit continue. This is the mapping process. If you use the command template, it already knows its own columns. They're just like it had already put it in order. So you don't have to map or match the columns on your custom file with the columns in command. It's asking me to match these, also known as mapping. And so the first name column on my file, it wants to know what that would be in command. So it's matching my CSV file columns to command columns. You can choose to skip any or to show any skipped columns that may be there with information or blank. It's showing me how many columns I actually have to match. So my first name, I could either put that as the full name or first name. We'll choose first name, last name, last name, phone number. Have to continue scrolling, primary phone number. Continue scrolling to primary email. You'll notice this is a little more time consuming. There's a little more room for error doing it this way with your custom import. So those are the benefits when it comes to actually choosing a command template to import with. Okay, so that's the big benefit of using their template. So primary address, line 1, primary address, line 2. And as I go through this, guys, just know too that you did not necessarily have to have the address separated out on your custom field. You could have done it all in one field as well. That may be a little teeny perk to doing a custom. See this, I'm talking and I can't find my fields. So we're going to go ahead and say skip, skip, skip. You see the purpose and the point of this. We'll go ahead and grab the tag column just to make sure that that's in there. They are in alphabetical order, just FYI, except for the custom fields down here at the bottom. Those are not in alphabetical, but everything else should be. And as I say that, they're not. I apologize. The top ones are. When it gets to additional information, the alphabet starts back over. Tags are in here. There we go. All right. And then you can hit continue. It will show you how many contacts you had on your page, on your contact file over here on the left. It will show you how it has mapped everything over here on your right. It's just to let you preview it again, make sure you haven't made any errors, and to go ahead and finalize import. When you finalize your import, it will let you know it's being imported and you can return to contacts. It's letting you know that this is in process right here, but it may be a little slow, especially if it was a big file or something like that. But you could always hit refresh or view your import log. This is in the back office settings. This is our last thing to go over today to actually show you how you can view your import logs in the back office. So let's go ahead and go there. Where your name is at the top, you can go to settings. This will bring you to your integrations page within Command and give you another menu over here on the left. Under Command settings is where we want to go. Now, if you're on your team or on a team, I don't know if you got to see that before it went away, but it let me know that this is underneath my personal profile. If you are on a team, you can toggle back and forth. It will change the options that are over here on your left. So for this, we're going to be under personal. And so under command settings, you'll notice contacts right here. That caret or triangle lets us know there's more options. So we'll go ahead and click that. And there's several things back here. One would be your contact archive. Like we talked about, you can archive a contact. It comes back here into this little archive place. They are not fully deleted. You can choose to restore them or permanently delete them here individually. You can even choose multiple or choose all and actually restore all selected or delete selected permanently. There's no undo button, okay? Remember, it's two-step process. Archive, then delete. Next, database wipe. If you're on a team, these may be grayed out due to your permissions, but this would archive all your contacts. It takes all your contacts from the Contacts tab, moves them back to that contact archive we just looked at. It will disconnect all of your auto marketing that you may have already set up. It would disconnect things like smart plans, email campaigns, okay? You can also delete all archived contacts. This is basically a database wipe. There's no undo button, guys. Stay away from this button. Stay away. I just realized I didn't show you the full export. Let me just show you that really quick. I'm going to bounce out of settings and go back to the contact tab. Remember, I was showing you over here on the right how to add the individual contact and how to import multiple contacts. Well, these little ellipses right here will give you an option to check for duplicates. It'll check your database for duplicates, but it's also to export a copy of your contacts. Now, this is very important. If you're going to come in here and start archiving and deleting contacts, highly recommend exporting a copy of your contacts. All your contacts still stay right here within Command, but it will export a copy of them onto an Excel spreadsheet. That way, you get to retain a copy like a backup for you just in case you accidentally hit a delete button, okay? So just know that's right there. Let's jump back into settings and I'll show you the rest that's back here as we finish up our last couple of minutes in class. Command settings, we were under contacts. So there's your contact archive. There's your database wipe that we just covered. Contact tags are also back here. Let's say you made a typo in creating one of your tags, or maybe you just want to remove some. You can do that all right here. Notice there's pencils to edit, trash cans to delete. As long as they're created by you, you're able to do that. Some of them actually may be, let me see if I can get it to sort. Just a second. I'll show you the ones created by the system here. There we go. So some may be created by the system itself. You'll notice those are usually always in that turquoise or teal color, and the pencil and the trash can will be grayed out. You can't edit or delete those, but the ones that you've created, you absolutely can. And you can do that back here if you ever choose to. But again, you'll know how to conveniently work them now within your own contacts tab without having to come back to the back office. So you can make those changes there as well. Lead management. Let's say you want to set up a rule for leads coming into your command database. You can see like this particular event follow-up. You can choose whichever lead source. If a lead comes in with that lead source, it will auto tag them with a tag, and it will automatically put them on a smart plan. It automates your command for you. So we can create a rule. Let's say if they fill out the contact form on your website, you want them to be tagged with a certain thing and get started on maybe a custom smart plan you've created that will email them kind of an introductory thing, give them some free resources to get them started, especially like if it's in the middle of the night and it's going to be a few hours before you reach out. You want to do something to give them value and come from contribution before you lose them to another somebody else that might respond faster, right? So we'll just go ahead and put in website lead as the name and which lead source is this rule for. You can choose all if you like, or we can choose a lead source from our list right here. So we'll just look for contact form, site, click that, and click off. So that's the lead source. If a lead comes in with that lead source, then they will automatically get a tag, and we'll just say, see if it's on here, website lead. Nope. So we can go ahead and create custom tag, make it the color we want, and add. You can add multiple tags, and you can also assign immediately to a smart plan right here. Okay. So we can add them to a smart plan. You can come back here and create rules as you need to. Next would be lead sources. Again, you're probably never going to use this, but they are back here if you ever want to add some in or delete or edit. Database cleanup. These are your duplicates. You can check for duplicates right here. It will list them out. You do need to go one by one and either ignore it or choose to merge them. If you choose to merge, you would choose which contact you want to keep and which contact you want to actually merge or lose. It will retain as much information as possible. It will keep this primary information and merge the information from the other one. Or maybe this is the one we want to keep and we'll merge this one. It would show more fields if you'd like, and you can continue to merge those together or not. You would just need to go through these and actually merge them as you would choose to. Last but not least, custom fields. Right here, if you want to add a pie giveaway, if you want to add an area of interest, you can come back here and create a custom field that would actually appear on your contacts right here. You can even make it like a drop-down option as well if you'd like. We'll say the first option would be cherry, the next would be apple, and so on. That way, there would be a drop-down field on my contacts where I can add what type of pie they would like. I can even make it a default so it would show on every single contact that I have and hit create. Your logs are right here. This really is the very last thing. My logs, you can always see which imports that you've done. It'll even show you out of how many contacts that you imported, how many failed, how many actually imported, and we'll give you an error file. If some of them did not import, you can always come back here and download your error file and actually see why they did not import so that you can get it corrected and get them imported again. That concludes our database overview class today, guys. If you have any questions at all, or maybe you want assistance with things like imports, things like that, you can always reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we will be happy to help you. Thanks for watching.